Welcome to Texas!
He's a 10.
I choose this family.
Hi guys, and welcome to episode 11 of 911 Lone Star Roundup. I'm one of your hosts, Grace, and with me are my lovely co-hosts, Katie.
Hey.
And EJ.
Hey everybody.
Today we will be talking about everything we know about Season 2 of Lone Star, which will air tonight at 9 p.m. EST and 8 p.m. Central. We are also going to touch on our theories we have based on what we know through the promos and little snippets we have received. Let's get to talking!
There's so much. Like, we have literally 9 pages, basically.
Oh my gosh, yes, we do.
But some of it's, like, not that important, so we'll be okay.
Lots of it are the promos that got expanded on later, so we can kind of just get ahead of it.
Yeah, because there's been a lot. Gosh, when did the first one pop up? Was it like end of October, early November?
I have the link for only the first one, so I'm curious. So I'm gonna go look for us because I'm just curious. Let's see. This one was posted on December 17th, so legit like a month ago from the day we're recording.
We've had a lot of promos.
Almost the day we're recording.
We've had a lot of promos back to back.
Yeah.
So I think partially because of the delay they had in recording, they just kind of start popping them out quickly in order to build up interest.
Yeah.
If they need to build up more interest.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, like the schedule-wise, they did go on hiatus for Christmas, the holidays. So the people who do all that had more maybe downtime to compile some promos.
Right, yeah.
Because I imagine working on set right now is a little more stressful because you've got a lot more to do and more precautions to handle. So
yeah. So I guess the first promo, we basically got like Owen welcoming Tommy to the 126 and stuff, and she's like putting on her uniform or whatever, and then you have like the little flash of him being like, I think we're gonna have some fun together, and she's like, you bet we are.
That's the point where I started liking her. I'm like, I like her spirit that she has in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When she was first announced, and they gave a description of her, I was thinking, or I thought that she had like an interesting like storyline. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, like I'm probably gonna like her. I don't know.
When she was first announced, I think I had an apprehension that people were going to like her more than Michelle, and so Michelle may not come back.
Yeah.
But so far, I actually am almost convinced I will like her more than Michelle.
Oh yeah, so I agree.
I think I was nervous about someone just being dropped into the universe and like having maybe drama that didn't fit in there. I should have known better. They do so well on these shows. I should have known better than that. But I think I'm definitely looking forward to her far more than I was when she was first announced.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and I think too, like with what we know about her backstory right now is that she was a really good paramedic, and she was a captain paramedic when she took some time off to take care of her twin girls. So we have that little bit of backstory. So she chose family over career for a while. All right, I'm looking forward to it, and I think I found out something yesterday that I will mention later in the podcast, but I think she's gonna fit really well with the cast of characters that we have right now, at least from what we've seen in the promos. Like, she seems like a tough gal, but like can have fun too.
Right, yeah.
She seems like she's going to bring like another comedic edge to it, and that's really on par for what a lot of the other characters are, so
yeah, definitely. And then we see them celebrating something, which that's shown a lot in the promo, so we'll talk about that more later because it was only like, well, from what I remember, like a flash of something. It wasn't really like, even that now we don't really have like a complete idea. We have theories on it. We don't know what's happening, but
huge theory on that.
Yeah, but what we do know is Carlos is there, as well as Gwen, TK's mom, Grace, and that's what we do know. Basically, like everyone in like.
The whole firehouse is there.
It's like a little extended family, extended whatever party, and I'm like, I love that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to more expansion on that.
Yeah.
Which of course we will talk about more later. But it was definitely interesting seeing that. I'm like, that is a large crowd in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
That was one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
About it that
But
way.
most of them were firefighters who worked together anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess that really does cut down on like the large crowd aspect.
Yeah, it was confusing because like at first it was supposed to. They said, "Oh, it'll pick up where it left off," and I'm like, I don't think it's going to. Why did you put that out there if it's not actually going to? So I kind of in my head, I'm like, okay. I don't know what's happening, but okay.
I will be very interested to see like where they dump us in there. Like
Yeah.
even if they just maybe do a little throwback and like start it off where it ended, but then like fast forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe they could have a flashback to, or like one or two scenes where like Gwen is showing up
Yeah.
to like visit TK and he's still like recovering, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to miss so much opportunity if they don't do that.
Yeah.
And I think they know that. So I will be very interested to see what happens there.
Yeah. And then we have Owen say check it and then double check. I don't want any more surprises out there. And I have a feeling this is probably at the verge of when the crossover will start, or it could be the episode before. I'm thinking, at least in my head, this is how I'm thinking, because that's the only logical thing I can think of why he would say that.
Well,
I mean, it's
later
normal,
on-
but like, I don't know, I just think that's what it is.
Well, later on in later promos, we see Judd saying, "Oh, you mean other than the active volcano?"
Yeah.
So the volcano's still active, and since they're not like out on calls or anything, you gotta assume it's stuck somewhere between the wildfires and the volcanoes. But I'm not really sure
Yeah.
where.
Yeah.
And we pretty much have heard that we know like the first episode, I think it's the third episode, is the crossover, which will be the forest fires. And we know that kind of from the original 911 that they usually towards the end of episode 1 and then into episode 2 is when they do the like big thing at the beginning of the season. So that's probably what it's going to be. So
Yeah, it'll definitely. Well, we know the crossovers are in episode 3, so I'm thinking the volcano will be discovered probably in episode 2.
yeah.
I think
That's what I'm
maybe end of episode 1, we might have like a little hint.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because, you know, as we said, that's how the original one does it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we'll get a little cliffhanger there.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
the volcano will, in my, like, expert or inexpert opinion, however you'd like to do it, it will be in episode 2.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if volcano was in episode 1, what in the world would they be doing in episode 2?
Yeah.
Since the wildfires are in the crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be a teaser, like the last 10 minutes in somewhere in there in episode 1, because that's kind of how it was with the solar storm. Is it was at the very end they kind of like showed part of it, but you didn't know what it was. So I'm pretty certain that's how they'll do it.
And we know that there's no like back-to-back like premiere, so it's not like a 2-hour series premiere, so or season premiere.
So we have to
So
wait.
we know we're only so we'll have to wait a week to
God darn
find
it.
out.
That is why I like coming in late to things. That way I don't have to wait.
I know.
Yeah, there are benefits to that.
Yeah.
However, I am glad to be here now. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
Me too.
it will definitely not be the easiest thing in the world.
I was like, I say that now, but then I did technically start watching it when the series premiered, so
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So I was a little, but
Yeah.
and then we kind of move on, and so we do in that first promo we get a glimpse of TK in the truck in his uniform, so he's back from recovery from his gunshot,
Fine.
which is so good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping they'll touch a little bit more on the recovery period. Because, like, he did have to have his stitches redone after the solar storm.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there's not too much to... I guess there's not too much to touch on, really. But I kind of want to hear, like, he was climbing the walls or something. Because I get that,
Oh yeah.
I get that feeling from him. He will be climbing the walls.
Oh yeah. Yes, that's definitely.
Especially if his mom comes in time enough to, like, baby him or take care
Oh,
of him.
yeah.
And he's just like, Dad, help.
He's like, bye, going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we hear Grace say, like, 911, what's your emergency? And then, like, we see kids in a pool that's on fire. And like, here are what I remember being my first reactions. I'm like, okay, why is a pool on fire? Second of all, why are these kids all hanging around right now together in a
Right.
pool?
Yeah.
Because I
Why
guess
you
they're also
partying?
showing the idiotic
Oh
side
yeah,
of
definitely.
Yeah, the partying during a pandemic, yeah.
This is what's getting me with the entire promos and all of that. Half the time, even 75% of the time, they seem like they're in the pandemic. The rest of the time, they don't seem like they're in the pandemic.
Yeah,
I am so messed up.
yeah.
Yeah. Which is what the promos are supposed to do. They're not supposed to, tell you what, they want.
They're supposed to
wanna
mess with your head and make you watch the show.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, which is what they want you to do.
Yeah.
So they're teasing you with all these little clips of things.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, and I love like the last edge of that part. It's like Paul's like, "Tell me I'm not seeing it." Mateo's like, "Lava."
See,
Yeah,
until I read our notes, I did not know that was Paul and Mateo. I thought it was the caller.
No, it was Paul and Mateo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
and I
fits
was
so
thinking
well, though.
too.
yeah,
It was serious. Like that scene was serious because obviously we've got like literally lava, and you can kind of see some things like bubbling through the pool, like the bottom of the pool.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why do they have the masks on? And then I realized it's probably a chlorinated pool, and chlorine gas, which happens when chlorine gets warm, is toxic.
yeah,
So that's probably why that they were dealing with like all those people passed out that were like not in the pool
yeah,
because of the chlorine gas.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That's a good point.
yeah. And then an explosion happens with that, and you can hear Judd say, "My God!" And then you just see them like all respond to it. Tommy says that it could become a mass casualty.
Okay, here's the thing with that.
Yeah.
Whenever she says that, I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
It's a volcano.
It's a volcano, like, we're all possibly gonna die here.
Yeah, but I'm always like, okay,
Yeah,
that's stating the obvious.
lava is not good.
No.
Right.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the lava basically flies out. And from what we know, this is like the big part. I remember when this dropped, and I'm pretty sure I was at work, and I was like, what the hell? Who died? And then
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
like,
yeah, you
somebody
were.
might have died. Oh my god. I was
Well, because we were blowing up your phone on the chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were like, well, who died? And we're like, someone actually dies.
Yeah, that's the story of my life. Every time I get a bunch of messages, I always am like, who died? Like, what? And then, like, it's like, somebody might have actually died. Maybe not in real life, but, like, on the show, yeah, somebody might have died. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of laugh and joke about it, but we're not happy. Like
No.
we're laughing about the situation, not that somebody's dying, because we're real bummed about like whoever ends up being the one that dies.
Yeah. So we kind of, well, in promo 1, we kind of like everything that we're saying right here now is like our theories, because we like have obviously watched and rewatched this like 100 times to figure out who could potentially be. And so Owen and Tim, the only ones standing right near it. We also think Mateo was near there, but we've kind of ruled him out at this point, as this is a month later, basically. And Mateo yells incoming, which reminds me of the episode where the
bull stuff.
the bull stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds
He wants him to be a spotter.
Yeah. And who dies? Well, we all think it's Tim.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think that. I haven't really, like, I've seen people say Mateo at first, but I'm thinking I think it's Tim. I think other people are also ruling towards Tim, just because he's the only one that's standing there. And also, we'll get to this once we get to the other promos where they actually show people's, because we kind of get like a reaction.
Yeah.
But it's leaning more towards him.
Well, and if you, like, I did this, I went back and I looked, and I'd seen some comments about, like, the turnout coats that were being worn, and I went back and looked, and the paramedics are the only ones with turnout gear that have the shoulder stripes.
Yeah.
The firefighters don't, and so the person who the lava bomb flies at is actually one that has the stripes.
Yeah.
And we see Nancy later. We know they're not going to kill off Tommy immediately.
Yeah.
So that leaves, by power of deduction, that leads Tim.
Yeah. Some people have some weird theories. Somebody's like, oh my god, they're gonna kill off Michelle. I'm like, how would they kill her off if she's not
She's not
here?
even filming.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not gonna kill her off if she's not filming. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean,
Yeah.
they could, but we know they're not going to.
That would make literally no sense.
It would make no sense. Like,
Unless they're doing like a Zoom filming, which that's completely like
that'd
not
be
possible.
weird.
Like,
Yeah.
Personally,
do you have the lava go through the screen, through basically the whole wide network and hit her in London? I mean, what do you do?
yeah, that just no.
No. So, I will be very surprised if it's anybody other than Tim.
Yeah,
But I am keeping it in mind that they're only giving us snippets.
Yeah, right.
They could be lining up things to... The person who dies could even be in the wildfire, not the volcano incident.
Yeah, that's true too.
Also,
but who knows?
Yeah, also I just thought of this, but like, I've seen shows before where somebody dies and stuff, and they'll film in a way where like one show I filmed, like, somebody dies and it was like a high school they were doing they filmed the death first or something like that, or no, I don't remember, it doesn't really matter, but like, it was a high school graduation, so they filmed everyone at the high school graduation, but they removed whoever wasn't gonna make it, basically. So they could easily do something like that.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different options. Yeah, I know what you mean, Katie, that there's those times where they'll hide it even from the cast.
Oh yeah,
who's gonna die.
Yeah, whoever's gonna die, I would assume they would know way ahead of time, because they have to prepare for that in some point. But everyone else probably didn't know until either a couple weeks before, or when they started filming.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to write down these thoughts, but as we're talking, I'm getting some thoughts here.
Okay.
And this also this begs the question. Okay, let's go with our theory. Tim is the guy who dies. Why?
Yeah.
Does Mark need to leave the show? Does he have another project coming up?
Yeah.
Tim was surprisingly popular for his very small part.
Yeah.
Yes, and he had some awesome one-liners.
Oh my gosh, he had some great
ones.
That's why I loved him. It's kind of like Josh on 911. I always liked him because they both have really good one-liners, and they just draw you in that sense. That's why they are very they're small roles and they're very underrated, but that's why they have a lot of fan traction, because they have one-liners that just get you and are okay, I really like this character, I want more of them. And
yeah. And, so, it's not from a lack of popularity at all.
Oh, yeah.
And it's okay, so if they're getting rid of somebody who is fairly popular, there is a very good reason for it.
Yeah.
And I can really assume it's from Mark's end, and less so, the show itself.
So for those of you who didn't know, Mark Elias plays Tim Rosewater.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're going off that and our theory of Tim is the one that passes away, I've seen some recent photos of Mark's posted where he said missing this family.
Yeah, that's what got me.
And it's a picture of some of the people from the show, and then he recently dyed his hair, so that's not completely something to throw us off, but definitely makes me think
oh yeah,
okay, well, why would he be changing his hairstyle and hair color if he's staying? I mean, which is totally possible, people can change their hairstyles, but usually they have kind of in their contract that you're going to kind of keep your hairstyle remotely similar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what got me.
Ronan's not going to show up to film TK with a beard. I wish, but that's not TK.
Yeah, no, that couldn't happen.
Right. Yeah, so just a few thoughts on that.
Yeah, but promo 2, we see Owen and Yellow turn out gear, which means wildfire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. I've watched enough of these shows to know what that means.
Yeah, that's the woodland fire uniform.
Yeah, and then so we see a blazing fire, and then I love this line so much. Owen's I know you're exhausted, but we have one last shot. I don't know, I just love how they showed it and the whole vibe of it. I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
We see TK and Marjan with the team. I don't remember half of the stuff, so I'm just going off what I wrote down. I think Owen was talking to Tommy in this scene. He said, after the year we've had, what else can we expect? But I legit don't remember that at all.
I remember the verse. I
Yeah.
do not remember the verse, if that makes any sense. Don't
Yeah.
remember that in the promo.
Yeah,
but like I remember,
I remember hearing it, but yeah, I don't remember seeing the context of it.
Yeah. I'm sure that's right, but I don't remember it. So yeah, these are like all things that like they're cool and I can't wait to see them. But like I'm like it's just whatever.
Yeah, for context, people, we have written our notes as the promos have come out.
Right. Yeah.
And for like the one scene that keeps changing, Katie's had to update the notes like 5-10 times.
Yeah.
So we're going back through here, and the early ones we don't remember what's happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because several scenes have been expanded on since they first put them in the promos. So like we're like trying to remember. Okay, well that promo was that in that one, or did they expand on it in the next one?
Okay. Yeah. And then so we see the lava again, like we already talked about, and we see that someone gets hit with the lava, which we talked about, that we think it's Tim.
Right.
And then later Owen sits down with Gwen, I do remember this one, at home, and said one of our own died today, which really set off, because in the first promo we figured somebody died, because if you're hit with lava, that's like
The chances of you surviving that
like you're gonna have
that was
greatly decreased.
Yeah, you're gonna have severe burns.
Yeah. And like I don't really. It appears to be early morning. Like she's coming out in a robe, so it looks to be very early morning. And Owen is sitting there. I think he has ash in his hair. Like he has something speckled in.
Yeah.
So like he just came home from work, or he has been sitting there for an extremely long time.
Right.
My guess is he just came back though. Yeah. And when I saw that in particular, I'm like, this reaction would not be happening if it was somebody from another station.
Right.
Like, obviously, the death of any firefighter hits the department hard.
Yeah, totally.
Because, you know, we're all family, whether or not we're even in the same station. But that very much gives the vibe of somebody there.
Yeah.
So that's what it was like, okay, it's not just anybody.
Right, and the scene where they have like the pool scene where it's like the lava's coming out and it gets hit, that's at night, so it would make sense like Owen's feeling that the next morning.
Yeah, and then we see Nancy, who's Tim's partner and stuff, crying with somebody. Their face isn't shown, but I'm like 90% sure it's Tommy, and they're comforting her. So obviously it has to be Tim, because he's the only one that I can think of that she would be super close with and stuff.
Right.
The only, I think this may even be where somebody came with the idea of Michelle. If Michelle was in the show right now, I would call that valid, because Tim, Nancy, and Michelle, they have worked together since before the rest of the team came. We can assume they were with the previous 126. And that is what, like, particularly, my options before, like, who I was thinking died, it was between Mateo and Tim. Because in this crying scene, we do not see Mateo.
Right.
But I know that Mateo has washed through a lot, so technically he's familiar with everybody. But I don't think he ever worked with the 126 before.
Right. Yeah.
And the way Nancy is crying, it's like, it's very, like, soul-wracking crying.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know it would have that strong reaction unless, and this is my one clause for that, unless she was working to try and save the person and she feels she did not, she failed. That is the one angle I'm like, that's one exception that I feel like could be to that theory. But honestly, I have such a strong feeling that it is Tim.
Same. And this is something I just thought of, but I would really like to know, like, how long they worked together, just as, like, contacts, and be like, she could, like, be like, we worked together for this amount of years, and it would just give a lot of insight, but also I just feel like it would have, like, somewhat of an impact, I guess.
Right,
they seem very comfortable with each other. I would guess several years.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, and I know we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, that like when Owen first met Michelle, he didn't really seem to know her at all. And it makes me think that, because we don't know specifically like what people passed away in the original 126, like that explosion. Like they could have lost their paramedic crew, because I imagine they'd be on site.
Wait, Owen or Judd?
So
with
Judd.
I was
Judd's
so
original.
confused. I was like, wait, they did just meet.
Yeah. So Owen didn't know them, but then at the original 126, when they all died, we don't know who exactly was on site. So it's potentially like maybe Michelle, Tim, and Nancy had come from a different station. Yeah. And, because I know here in certain areas, there's a paramedic station there's no fire trucks at, and it's just like ambulances. So like they totally could have had like one of those, and then like they just transferred them over to the 126. So there was like an on-site paramedic. So we don't know like if they were originally a 126 crew. But yeah, so it definitely, Nancy's reaction definitely makes me lean towards it being Tim, because I don't think she would have reacted the same to like Taya passing away.
Yeah. But and then after that, we get Paul comforting Marjan, and it looks like she was boxing there, which we'll get to more of that later, and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it looks like she's comforted, but I still think, even with that it is Tim, because like she could like have somewhat of a like friendship with him. Like it would be possible. Like I feel like anybody.
I actually have a feeling on this. I feel like they took a scene from a different context and put it in.
Possible too. Yeah.
It feels very out of context to me. Like it doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
And so I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fit to me, so I'm thinking they put that in for promo with that.
Yeah.
But it may not actually be from that incident.
Yeah. That's very possible.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah. I was just thinking that like I feel like if anybody you worked with died, I feel like you would be sad, even if you weren't super close with them. Well,
of course, especially same station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff. But yeah. And then last for that one, we get a voiceover of Owen being like, it all made sense, but now nothing does. That's so relatable. Like,
life.
Yeah, that's like life when like tragedy hits. You literally get so lost and don't know what to do. And it's like,
it seems like everything used to make sense, but now everything is like turned topsy-turvy and all that stuff. So promo 3.
Yeah. So this is the best part. Like,
I love the sequence.
Yeah. It's because it's like so like funny. I think it's funny. But it's just like, what's the worst that can happen? And you see a tank and it like comes right up to Owen's face.
Like an inch
and then
off his face. It's like I love when they organize things to be like, what's the worst that can happen? Doom. Okay, something bad happens.
And then like Tommy's like, I've never seen a firehouse like this one, and I'm just like, that's hilarious.
Is this the promo where she says we need a whole lot of Jesus and a little bit of Jack?
I don't know.
I don't
think that's going to be one of my favorite lines.
I don't
remember that
either. I didn't write that down, so obviously it didn't sit well with me.
Oh my gosh. But I think that line is relatable no matter where it was.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Oh yeah,
I love
definitely.
That.
But I love how Tommy's just like, I've never seen a firehouse quite like this. And like her face, I gotta wonder what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And then like
didn't she walk in on TARLOS kissing? And I don't know. I hope.
I love that.
But I don't feel like that, but I'm just like, throw that out there.
Yeah. Then we get like the swimming pool fire call again, lava, blah blah blah. And then Owen says, I don't want any more surprises, and Judd's like, what besides the active volcano?
I love that. That's like
Judd has got the best dry humor in the show.
Yeah.
Like, what besides the volcano?
Yeah, like he can like Owen can be like, I don't want any more of this, and Judd will be like, well.
I love how Owen's like, true. Like his expression is true. Like so relatable, like that expression.
Yeah. And then the rest is basically the same as promo 1. We do see him run to a call. We see an explosion, and then the same, like, Owen being like, we're gonna have a lot of fun together, blah, blah, blah.
I was like, you bet we
are. That was, like...
Yeah. It may be, like, one of the most overused scenes in the promo, but it's also a great scene in the promo.
They used it, I think, in the first couple, and I was just like, okay, I need a little bit more.
Give us new content.
More.
Yeah.
But yeah, promo 4, we have... same scene of Owen saying he doesn't want any more surprises. We see the tank once again, and we will get
Carlos coming in.
We finally get Carlos.
I was already like, did you get rid of him too? Like, obviously no, but literally everyone would desert the show if like something happened to Tarlos.
If you get rid of
Oh, yeah.
TK or Carlos, I'm out. Peace out. Sorry, this podcast will end.
Yes. And he's like, everyone take cover.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we talk about they're facing down a tank and they have
Okay,
guns.
I have a lot of questions. Okay, so
like hand guns.
so the tank crashes over a car in this promo. We see the tank before this too. But like I'm just like, why is there a tank now? Like where did that come from? I know
I have a theory.
Here for
Okay,
it.
go for it.
So, okay. Okay, so the tank is coming down the road, I think, because it's an older tank and it looks like one of those...
looks like a World War II.
Yeah, it looks like a World War II tank. So I'm thinking like somebody had it as like something they'd fixed up and they were mad because later on when we see kind of the tank again, the guys are all lined up and behind them, you see the logo on the building is the VA.
Oh.
So I think
Yeah.
somebody is mad at the VA either because they lost a family member who should have gotten coverage from the VA or something involving the military.
I did not know that was the VA. I thought it was like a health clinic or something because I saw people that looked like they were in like white doctors like jackets. Like I saw things that looked like it was like a clinic or something.
Yeah, it's a VA clinic, I think, because the VA just changed their logo recently, and that's what the VA logo looks like.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so I have a feeling that the tank is somebody like wanting to get back at the VA for something, and so like they're trying to stop it before it happens. So it's like going over the car, and it's just like wreaking havoc. And then Carlos and the guys are there trying to like put up a lineup of cars to stop them, and then it doesn't stop them because it's a tank.
It's a tank.
And then they're like, okay, well, what else are we going to do? And so then that fire department comes in with the fire trucks, hoping that would maybe stop them.
Yeah.
And then, like, their last line of defense against the VA is them standing
Oh,
there.
yeah. That's
I do wonder with that. I didn't know, like, I don't think I connected that, like, the tank and the VA part were, like, you know, connected. I don't remember if the promo was just that long ago and I missed something in it or what. But I do wonder, like, with the tank coming and like it coming like this close to Owen's face, like that looks separate from the other time. So I'm like, did it go to the VA and just like leave? Or?
Yeah,
right.
My one hunch with the tank, which I think yours EJ makes a lot more sense, was that somebody was trying to like fix up an old tank or something, and like it got out of their head and started running away from them.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah.
So I think yours makes a lot more sense, but I will be so excited to see what like actually happens.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we see like a few different calls like into one, and one of them looks like it's at a roller derby, and at this point we've gotten like promo pictures, so we know that there will be one, and I'm excited for that. And we see the lava again. Like, the lava is just, like, they're showing it so much because it's going to be, like, a major theme. Obviously, it's going to lead to the crossover, right. So they want people to be like, hey, we're showing you lava. Like, we're going to get lava.
Oh, Dan mentioned we're going to get lava.
Yeah, lava. Every time I say lava, I just have to mimic Mateo. I'm just like, lava. I want to say it like him.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And then we have Marjan. She says, what the hell are we looking at? And then, like, I think this is separate, but Owen's like, let's go, people. We have one last shot to turn the tide. And I'm like...
Even if it is separate, like, that's a great, like, combo of lines. I gotta wonder, though, like, okay, what the hell are you looking at? Like, what are you looking at?
I think this might be at the pool. I think it might be the lava thing. I think that's what it is.
Maybe.
And yeah.
So that's promo 4.
No, 5.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're getting to the good stuff.
We're getting to... Okay, let's not just say good stuff. We're getting to the TARLOS stuff. Not yet, but...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the good stuff.
That's the good stuff.
So we see the tank again. Some more calls. I think we see more of Tommy in action, which I like, to kind of get that vibe going.
She has a very soothing vibe.
Oh, yeah,
like,
definitely.
very good for a paramedic.
Yeah. And then we see the roller derby or whatever. We see like people getting saved from a car, which we see more of that scene a little bit later, so we can talk about it then. And then we see the celebration again, and it looks like it could possibly be like well, I don't know. At this point, I remember us thinking maybe it's like celebrating Owen and TK being there for a year, and also like Marjan and Paul and I guess Mateo too, even though he's from Texas too. It's kind of forgotten, but
the anniversary of the saving of the 126.
basically,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a cake involved. So whatever
Okay,
it is.
the cake!
There's a cake.
In our group chats, we have talked about
yeah, I know.
And before, we're like, okay, maybe it looks like a volcano. I'm like, well, the other option is it looks like a brain.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it has nothing to do with a brain.
Yeah. No, the other day I said it looked like a volcano. I'm like, the more I look at it, it looks like a volcano. Before I was like, is that a cinnamon bun just on a cake? Because that's what it looks like. And I spent a lot of time around baked goods. I know what I know.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this might be about where we start to see some more clips from the fire, forest fires.
Yeah.
And it's very quick, but there's a glimpse of Judd, Paul, and TK carrying Owen.
It looks like the helicopter carrying him crashed.
Yeah. That was been my theory, is that Owen's in the helicopter that crashes during the fire, and then the team has to go rescue him, and he's the lone survivor from that, is what I think is going to happen. And so I think the cake is actually like a picture of a hill with
that
like
makes a lot
a
of sense.
crashed helicopter on it.
Maybe.
Like, that we don't see.
We need a close-up.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
We need a close-up. We will not get a close-up until the episode I know. But...
Also, I looked at this and I got like really excited, but we have a TARLOS part. My first favorite. Carlos. I can't even. Carlos. Firefighters, you really are a smug bunch. And TK's like, you love it.
You love it.
I really said that so good. I'm like...
As we have stated before, I don't know if it's on a podcast or not, but as we have stated before, if they don't have some hot makeout scene on a call, like what we see in 911 with Bobby and Athena, I want to rebel. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking something like that, because as we've got more promos, I was watching one the other day, and it almost looked like their hands like either touched or something before this part. And
yes, I noticed that too.
I love this so much. Like, that just made me like way more excited than I already was.
Well, up until this point, we had been completely burned dry of TARLOS. Yeah. So this was the first bit of TARLOS that we got, and it's like, finally!
Yeah, I remember being like, show me TARLOS or I'm leaving.
Well, you know they were holding on to the nuggets for like the last minute. And they really gave us some.
When they gave us the TARLOS promo, like the separate TARLOS promo, they did not just give us a TARLOS promo. They gave us a TARLOS promo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whew, that was good. That was good.
But I want that on, like, a hoodie. I want that, like, picture on a hoodie, and those lines, like, firefighters, you really are a smoke bunch, and you love it. I want that. I want that.
Oh, Shaz!
Shaz! Oh, Shaz, darling!
Yeah, then we get, like, a snippet of, like, a date at the supermarket, which we'll talk about more later, because we kind of know what that is later, just not at this moment of this releasing. Then we see...
Everyone was like, what do you think it is? And I'm like, it looks like a farmer's market.
This is my theory at the moment that it released. I was like, that's actually full circle, like a supermarket, because in episode 2, Carlos went to the supermarket to get the fish for the date that failed. So, like, that'd be full circle if they went together.
Though, to be honest, if it was, like, at a farmer's market or anything, gotta say, I expect the camera to shift and see Owen, like, ahead of them.
Oh,
do you really think he'd pass up the chance to go to, like, a farmer's market?
Yeah.
No, he would not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then we see the tank crash once again over cars, through dirt, and catches on fire.
Oh, maybe that car is what causes the fire, the Foyer's fire.
That's new.
Maybe.
And Mateo's.
Because it, like, falls down a hill or whatever and then crashes and kind of starts a fire.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about this. But yeah, now it's, like, coming back, and Mateo extinguishes that, and then they really be showing us the lava once again. And then...
Lava?
And then Marjan's repelling into steam, and Judd's like, how are you feeling up there? And she's like a rotisserie chicken.
I love it.
And then we see
Yep.
Owen, Gwen, and TK, and like TK like hugs Owen. We love that. Here for it. And then this is when we get
always.
the Gwen and Owen hook up, and Owen's just like just two adults trying to get through the apocalypse like everyone else. And TK's standing there with a lollipop and a black hoodie. He's in a hoodie. I repeat, he's in a hoodie. And he's like, the walls here are not that thick.
Yeah, he's in the kitchen. They're standing at the door, and they did you see their face? They both kind of turn and they're like,
I wonder if they thought that he was at Carlos's and like he wound up coming home instead. Which I do not understand why he would do such a foolish thing, but you know. And I'm just like, were they not expecting him, or did they forget their son existed?
Yeah.
They probably were expecting to be quieter than maybe
also,
they were.
there was luggage by the door at that moment too.
I'm wondering,
She's probably getting ready to leave.
Love how I'm talking about TK.
Or she could have just arrived.
Love how I'm talking about TK, and I get a notification from Ronan while I'm talking about TK.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Love that. Then we see the explosion and the thing we kind of briefly mentioned about the helicopter crash with Owen, and like we see that we have one last shot thing again, and then we're up to promo 6.
Damn, they really released a bunch.
Yeah, at first
they did.
everyone was like, because I think they released one with 911 combined, and then they didn't release one for weeks, and everyone is irritated because we get more about 911. Then they started really popping out the Lone Star ones, and let me just say, we've gotten way more for Lone Star than we have for OG.
As it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I love OG, but
Lone Star is
no, we need Lone Star.
Yeah.
Well, 911 started filming a week before Lone Star did, too.
Partially why.
So I guess technically Lone Star was catching up and they just overdid it. Yeah. Which I'm very happy about.
Yeah, promo 6, we have the tank again. In 7, this is like a mini one they just posted on Instagram. But Owen was like, divorce for us has been better than couples therapy.
I gotta wonder if they went to couples therapy, like, honestly.
Well, yeah, that's why I think he said that, because, like, and then Gwen's like, we're two consenting adults who have been closely confined and have found an option other than homicide.
Homicide, which I believe is how most couples feel in the pandemic right now.
Oh, yeah.
Kill each other, or
especially if you're like home with your significant other or just any person in general for however long your lockdown was. Like, I think anybody would want to kill their significant other.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, yeah, and right after this we get the whole TK and the lollipop and the hoodie. Like, the walls here are not that thick. And
that's when we're like, okay, we definitely know what was going on.
Yeah. Right. And then
I kind of wonder how long the hookup was going. Like, when did they start it? Is basically the bedroom the only place they don't argue?
Yeah, I'm also curious, like, how many bedrooms are in that house? They said in the first episode, I vaguely remember there being 2 bedrooms. Not that it really matters.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
But it's just the thought.
Yeah, well, and I was thinking, too, because, like, we don't know exactly how much time spans in episode 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like one of you had mentioned that there were suitcases next to Gwen when TK says that about the walls not being that thick. But like, I have a funny feeling that the scene that we keep having to re-edit because they keep expanding on in the last couple of days, I feel like that's like at the beginning, and then like there's more bickering, and then like progression over the next few months. Like we see like them like their tone softening, and then in that scene, I guess. Well, I don't know, because Owen does make the comment about a squatter. She's been there for more than a month or 4, so she's more like a squatter. So it sounds to me like she's been quarantining with them for...
Which, that's probably why TK looks like shit.
Yeah.
So do I have no idea why in the world he would want, like, stay there and not move in with Carlos?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Well, we don't know exactly the situation, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, you have an option, sweetie.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd protest.
Yeah. Like, Owen... Yeah,
true.
So, like, promo 8's probably my favorite. Besides, like, the TARLOS part, that's, like, more of a sneak peek than a promo. But, like, my favorite...
This feels less teasing and more like, I don't know, tone setting.
Right, yeah, that's how I feel. We see Owen, he's like, welcome to the 126 to Tommy. and stuff, and then everyone rushes to the trucks to a call, and everyone's like, "Let's go, people!" And
I love stuff like that.
we see Mateo, Tim, Nancy, and Paul pose for a picture that Marjan's taking while Grace and Tommy are like talking, and I was like, I really like that. At that moment, I was like, okay, I want to see them like form like a friendship. I just want more like women scenes this season. Like I really want like Marjan and like Grace and maybe like Tommy, just all the women to like become friends and have like their own like women's circle or something.
Girls' night out or something.
Yes, I want
and
that.
then we get like TK and Carlos in that one and stuff. And
which later we have an expansion on that scene, but at that time it was like just a glimpse of TK being literal heart eyes.
Oh yes, yes, and Carlos too.
As Ronan put on his story, I think then it was basically like a picture of TK doing the heart eyes, and he was like, "No chill." And then a picture of Carlos in that scene, and he's like, all the chill. And I'm like, nah, Carlos was awesome.
Soft
like,
Tarlos.
Hard eyes. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then we see a car wreck, and TK's like, we're gonna get you out of here. And I'm like, I don't know. And then like the music of this part, I couldn't tell you what it was, but I really liked it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, this promo is wasn't it the one that where Rob's like talking about it being like inclusivity, like inclusive?
Oh yeah, I think it is actually. Now that I think about it. And then I think it's Marjan, Paul, and Mateo. Well, they don't show him right away, but they like basically knock down a door to a call where it looks like somebody was joking or something, and they were on a Zoom call. And then maybe that was that one. I don't know. I mean, it could have been another one I'm thinking out. It did happen. I just don't know if that's what I was talking about.
It did happen. I don't know if this is this promo,
that's what I'm saying.
You do see
but anyways, it happened somewhere in here. And then, like, so they rip off the car door. I think that's what I meant to say. And I just went to the other one. But anyways, they ripped off a car door to an SUV, and it looks like it has plywood falling out from a truck that hit that car. And
this is the promo where they were talking about representation, because I remember this scene. Ronan was talking about like being a gay firefighter and all of that. And that's one thing that sticks out to me in the scene. So yeah, it was the representation like behind scenes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then like they put a girl on a gurney or like and then at Carlos's apartment, meanwhile, we see them kiss, and then
I scream. I like squeal.
Yeah, they say, I love that. That just lives in my brain. But and then the camera pans out and Mateo's just standing right behind them, and I'm just like, dude, can you give him like some room or whatever? Like, I'm not saying have like a full on makeup right now, but like, dude, go over there.
Yeah. Especially since in that scene, and we see more on like obviously the scene leading up to this later, but he's wearing like the same. TK's wearing the same shirt that he was wearing during like bickering argument between his parents.
That's what I put together.
So it's like he needs comfort. Like leave them be.
Yeah. And like then we see Marjan and Paul sitting on the couch, and to me it looks like they're playing video games. It might just be my head, but like I legit think that
they probably were. That is not impossible.
It's not. No. Possible. Yeah, it's very possible. I was just like, that's what it looked like to me. Then we get the iconic bar scene where I screamed and watched this 5 times. I just rewinded it. Rewind.
Actually, I just looked over that part of the promo. They have video game controllers.
Yeah, that's why I thought that.
Okay. So that's,
okay.
Definitely.
My theory was right.
But
yeah, bar scene. A guy flirts with TK, and he's like, firefighter, sign me up for the calendar. And Carlos walks up, and he's like, and his boyfriend's a cop.
His boyfriend's a cop.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yes.
And then TK kind of looks at Carlos.
Yeah.
Like,
it looks
yes,
like
he is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's just like, some people, when I posted the that part of the promo, were like, I don't like a jealous man. And I'm just like, it's supposed to be a cute, like, funny moment. They're like, I don't think Carlos is joking. And I'm like, it's supposed to be a joke. Do you really think he's like that? He's not, as he said in episode 3, he's a secure person.
I don't think, here's my thing, is it joke necessarily? It depends on how you frame, like, a joke. He's being like, nope, he's taken. Like, he's mine.
Like, you don't...
My heart is his. That's kind of what he's doing.
I would
right
do the
now.
same thing. Like,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on.
And I am pretty sure, like, if he hadn't been there, TK looked like he was about to say, like, I have a boyfriend or something like
Probably.
that. Like, that's definitely my guess. Because contrary to apparently some people's opinions, he's not a cheater.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, that is not the wrong kind of possessive. Like, that is possessive in its way, but not the toxic kind. It's like a cute little moment, just him being like, staking his claim, but not in a bad way. If that makes
Well,
sense.
honestly, if I was hanging out with TK, I would even say, and his boyfriend, like, I would not hesitate. So, like, that's like defending my friend.
Carlos is one fine man. I will defend TK every time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. And plus, TK is like, please take this in the joke it's meant as, like, a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of, like, he's a strong, independent guy. He doesn't, if he felt Carlos was being wrongly possessive, does anyone think he would have been acting as chill as he was?
True. Yeah. Very true.
So I'm like, if he doesn't worry about it, you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, like, Carlos is very secure in the sense that, like, he knows where they stand, so it's not like he's like it's all fun, and I love that moment. Moving on,
let's go.
Oh yeah, so I have this crazy thing. So it's not really crazy, but okay. So we've slowly had some buildup of. So we saw Marjan boxing, practice boxing with her purple gloves, and in a previous promo. And then Jules, who plays Mateo, had been asked in one of those post your favorite picture of, and like people could request a picture, and somebody requested one of him with Tarlos. So it was a picture of TK, Carlos, Paul, and Mateo at what looked like a fight, like as they were like spectators in like a fight, like a boxing match or something. So it makes me wonder if maybe Marjan, since she wasn't in that picture, was possibly the one doing the boxing, and then like the bar scene, because if the TK is in the same shirt in that picture as he is in that bar scene, so it makes me think that like TK is like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bar and get us drinks or whatever, and Carlos walks up. So I don't know, I feel like maybe Marjan is there and the guys are there to like support her.
And we know she boxes in real life, so it's very, it makes a lot of sense.
And I don't know, like, I'm sure by now we've seen it, and I think it was in this scene where we have a clip of Marjan dressed in like a black dress and like a greenish hijab.
Yeah,
and she's walking down what looks like a hotel hallway.
Yeah, that was later in this.
So it's like, was it later in this one?
You know, the fight scene, like, I can see like the logic behind like the theory and stuff. And I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the thing. I think I'm just not feeling it. I'm also like, that also looks like it could be like, I don't know, mini rodeo or something.
Yeah.
Because like, it's Texas.
Yeah.
That is true.
So it could, I don't know, I'll be very interested to see what it turns out to be. But I think I'm feeling the like fight thing a little less than
I think it could be like almost like a Battle of Badges thing. I've seen it on several shows where maybe she's going up against somebody from another station in the area. That's what my first thought when they posted this picture could have been.
Maybe.
That's a good idea.
I would love that.
And she could also, this could just be, it could, alongside like the fight theory, she could just be boxing like stress relief or stuff like that. Yeah, I'll be interested to see. It could just be another angle. But if there is like the fight thing, I'm glad it's Marjan.
Yeah.
Because like more badass woman. Like,
that's why I love it so much. And then we see Carlos like draw his weapon in a different scene, not like at this scene. That'd be weird. Maybe he is packing a piece in this moment, though. You never know. Now I'm gonna be thinking that. He probably is. Honestly, I feel like
it's Texas.
Well, that and
Texas,
he's a cop.
He's off duty.
Like, come on, like he's a cop. He probably is all the time.
If he's packing a piece on his date with TK, he is packing a piece in the fight.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. And then, like, this makes me think when he draws his weapon that it has to do with the tank. I'm pretty sure it does.
Well, we see it later, like, in the same... like, in a different promo.
Yeah, that's why.
Like, the tank coming towards and, like, the officers pulling the guns, which is why I'm like, do you think handguns will work against a tank?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Anyway, I guess they didn't have a tank of their own to use.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah. But I gotta have a TK moment here. It was like, okay, that's hot. I think it's the authoritative like air he takes, and we see it in season 1 when they were arresting the guy that put the mercury, like him doing the put your hands up in the air. I'm like, okay, that's hot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, because he's
work
like,
Carlos
he
versus,
definitely
like,
has like
soft
different
at home
vibes as most people do. Like, you're not the same person you are at work as you are at home. Like, that's normal, and stuff. But yeah, and then we see like the team like on different parts of the call. I think it's all the same call because they're just like all doing. It could be different calls, but like I got the vibe of the same call and stuff. Paul is next to Tommy, and they both look shocked in that moment. I don't know why I think that, but I do. Marjan is like checking out a woman, and then this is when we see again Paul and Judd carrying and TK carrying out Owen passed out, which we think is the helicopter crash. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty certain, but yeah. And then we see a close-up of TK's face. This is when Natasha was saying, like, there's no one way to be gay, there's no one way to be Muslim, there's no one way to be human. I love that. I love that so much.
That was a really awesome quote.
I love that so much.
As I do.
It's so true. Actually, I wanted to pull a scene from another promo and like inject this at the like carrying Owen out scene. So in the like exclusive Tarlos promo, we see a brief clip of like it looks like TK's like half running out of medical tent. He's in the yellow gear.
Yep.
We can only assume that like it was just after like his dad was brought out, and so obviously it'll be talked about later. But I just remembered that.
Then we see Judd and Grace in bed, and Grace is sleeping, and Judd's like watching her, and then we see like the fire blaze. It could be the pool. It's not like clear, and then Tommy looks shocked. Basically, another shock. Paul, Marjan, and Mateo in the gym. This is where it's so funny. I love this one. And then they're like, and then we see TK, and I wrote, then sees TK. Damn boy. We see Mateo run. I don't know what even this looks like anymore because this was too long ago. But that's what it was.
Oh yeah, he's just running down the road with his earbuds in.
Kind of like he was in the scene where he was listening to their tutoring, so to speak.
I want to be
that.
Like,
that's like what gave me the flashback to that. So.
And then Marjan and Paul
get it out, boys.
Yeah. So I feel like. So that scene, I was thinking about it, and like a few moments ago, we had mentioned that Marjan walking down what looks like a hotel hallway. She's looking for like a room, and she's dressed in like kind of a more silken green scarf hijab. And like a black dress. So with the boxing, I'm almost wondering, because you made the comment here on the notes, like, is she getting out some frustration? And I'm like, she may be visiting like a family member that came into town, like that she's visiting, and like maybe they came and she's upset because like they kind of disapprove of her job or they want her to move back to Miami.
We really don't know much about like her family. I think the real scene where like we hear something about it is like her saying that like parents always told her that if she was going to do something, be the best during her interview scene. But that's
so we don't know a ton.
Like, I've always gotten the feeling they're supportive, but I could also be completely off on that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that she doesn't like have a sibling or something like that, or something else could be completely different. I don't know. Maybe like a parent took ill and they're trying to get her to come back and be closer to family or something.
Same.
Like, I don't know. I'm excited to just get more Marjan.
Oh my gosh, yes.
More about her.
I agree.
Also, I live for the friendship between Paul and Marjan.
Yeah, it's such a good
love that.
And then we see Carlos hug a woman, and a man firmly shakes TK's hand, and I'm certain that's Carlos's parents, and I'm so happy because it's Yeah, and this is the market date. So the market date was really just a meeting of Carlos's parents, and I have so many theories off of this. I Yeah, so I'm like certain it's his
Oh
parents.
my
Some people are
gosh,
like,
yeah.
that could be his
too.
aunt, and I'm like,
Ah.
I hope it's not.
That makes no sense to me. Like, it's not impossible, and obviously in context
Yeah,
it would make more sense.
and I'm just happy that,
But
like,
I'm certain it's his parents.
if it is, I'm happy because they're not gonna wait like
Though I gotta ask.
4 seasons to show us his family, and
Right.
and I
mean, he
think
already knows
that,
TK's
I know,
dad,
and this
and
might
now
be a
mom, I'm
stretch,
Yeah.
sure.
but I think his family possibly have a booth at the market, so maybe they're farmers or something like that, which would be really funny because if you know Rafa, you know
Maybe.
he grew up on a farm in Brazil. So that would just be like perfect
Yep.
to like kind of write partially his own life into things.
I gotta mention this just because I think it's funny. Let's say because we think those are Carlos's
Oh, yeah.
parents. Carlos's mom seems significantly shorter than her son, and the dad didn't seem much
Yeah.
taller. So I'm like, Carlos, where'd you get your height?
Yeah, I mean,
Did you like
I
have
don't
some
think Carlos.
giant
I don't think
grandfather or
he's
something?
like he's not short. I'm not
Did you
saying
eat your
that, but I don't think
vegetables?
he's like tall for a guy. Like I think he might be like
Mm.
6 foot, if not 5'9". Yeah,
He and Ronan
Yeah.
are similar heights, and Ronan's about like
Like,
5'11".
yeah, like
so
5'10", 5'11", something
right.
like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I
but
got
no,
that.
in comparison to his parents, is what I'm saying. They both seem
Oh,
so
yeah.
much shorter. I'm like, where'd you get your height, baby? I don't know. They
Yeah,
look
which I kind of got that.
friendly,
I had
so
a
I'm actually
feeling
really
that,
excited
like,
to meet
when
them.
they would meet, that like his parents would be like super friendly, and I'm like, I said this the other day, but I was like, I would love for Carlos's parents to be real smitten with TK and be like, wow, he finally brought home a good one. I would love for that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I hope that opens up, like, talk about Carlos's
Yeah.
previous relationships, because I kind of do want to learn, like, his background with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not as much as I just
and
want to
then
learn,
we
like,
see
his
the scene,
upbringing,
which I
but
love the scene, where
obviously
they're
there's
basically
curiosity.
all like standing together in a line, and I love that. And I have a feeling this is like when they're looking at the tank, which it was hard to say in the first few promos when they showed it,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what they were standing there for. Like I really didn't. I was like, it could be anything.
Like, that is
Yeah.
a power
Yes,
scene.
thank you for giving that
Like
to
in
me.
TK and Carlos are standing next to each
Us.
other.
Yeah, I basically, like, whenever
Yeah.
that scene popped up, I was like,
And
oh.
now we finally made it to the part we have all been waiting for. Well, one of them, the Owen Gwen bickering, the one that I had to re-enter 10 times and add to because they kept adding on to it. And then they eventually just gave us the full scene. And I will say,
Shall we act out these lines? Like, each of us just takes
oh
turns
yeah,
with
I had to write it down. It's just so iconic. And
we
like,
have
I
them
have to
written
say
down.
that if you do want to see the full
Ooh.
scene, Ronan did just post it today, so you can
Yeah.
go
Well,
watch
you're
it if you
late,
want.
but
Well, and it's I have a feeling Fox picked this specific scene and gave it to Rob and Lisa to do when they were doing their promos and stuff.
Mhm.
And like the shows they're on are only going to show like maybe a 30-second clip. They're not necessarily going to show the whole thing. So like as one show would show it and somebody'd get the video, we'd see that one, and then like another
Thank
show
you.
would show a little bit different. And yeah, I think they finally just caved and showed us the whole thing.
oh yeah, they kept expanding it little by little, which
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
was why
I have to
he
have you
had
go
to-
in. And then I was like, okay, I'm sure they're not going to add more. And then they added more, and I was like, okay, here I go. Well, at least it was only little bits at a time.
And I just love how the scene opens with like Owen going, TK, did you use the last of my eye exfoliant? And TK's just like, do you think I have a
Do you
death
think
wish?
I have a life? Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, he knows his
Yeah,
dad very well.
It's
Like,
unbelievable.
do
She
not mess with the
moved my
baby
hand
products.
towel, which I asked her not
Yeah.
to do, with her long chestnut
Dad, please
hairs
don't
are in
freak
my
out.
brush. Who does she think she is?
Okay, so who? So he's talking about his ex-wife, like her long chestnut hairs. I'm like, really?
Really? That sounds like you're writing a love poem.
I'm like, are you? Oh yeah. And then she's, like, arigato gozaimasu, and she slams the computer down. She's like,
do you mind?
Yeah, I had no
She
idea
was
what
like,
she
I
was
was on
saying
clients
there,
in
so I was like, yeah,
Tokyo
no.
or Okinawa.
Yeah.
I had no idea where she was saying, basically. Like, I could tell it if I was listening to it, but...
She was speaking in Japanese. The last thing she said was thank you very much, which is arigato gozaimasu.
Mm-hmm. And then poor TK being put in the middle.
TK?
I've not been in this exact scenario before.
TK, can you tell your mother that I can put up with a lot, but I won't put up with someone stealing my list of the defense beauty products?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Can you remind your father that he stole my beauty products for all 10 years of our marriage? And this is no way to treat a guest.
No, I'm not going to do that.
A guest stops being a guest after a month. Or four, for here on out, you were a squatter.
Oh, Dad,
oh,
why?
Dad, why?
It's not my fault that you allowed our only child to get shot right before a worldwide pandemic hit.
That was a low blow.
Mom, why?
And also...
that wasn't Owen's fault.
That was one thing. Owen did not plan for the shot. Like, that was not his fault. And also, nobody knew the pandemic was about to hit, so, like, seriously?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that,
every show has played that.
I almost wanted to slap her for, like,
you broke up with me before a pandemic. So nobody thought that a pandemic would ever happen. And, like, that scene was so low blow for me. Because, like, first of all, you weren't there. It was not Owen's fault that TK got shot. They didn't even know that was going to happen. I mean, why would you know? Why would you know if you're going to get shot? You don't know.
They did not know there's
a gun in front of you.
Mm.
If you do know you're going to get shot, then maybe it was the person
and,
who got shot.
He looks super, like, the faces he makes, I'm just like, okay, that's so rodent to me, but, like, also, like, he's I
so
guarantee
done.
he's gonna walk out,
Yeah,
and
he's so tired and frustrated.
As he should.
Oh, yeah, I need a walkout scene. And, okay, so when we first saw the scene, when we first saw the first clip, some people were saying, like, oh, this looks toxic and stuff. I didn't think so at first. I just thought it was a little funny. Because I've always thought, like, little exchange, like, go through somebody else, like, as long as it's, like, not a real big problem, I always thought those are funny. But then, like, it extended, and I'm like, okay, this is actually worse than I thought it was.
It to be toxic, and some people are saying it's toxic. And I was like, well, the part we did get, I was like, if you think this is toxic, then you have not seen toxic, what really is toxic.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, but
I mean, it's definitely not ideal, and for adults to have, and then their adult children, divorced adults should not put their adult children in that. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm an only child, so I remember, like, especially when my parents were sick, like, my mom was in one part of the house, my dad was in the other part of the house, and I was, like, in the middle, like, passing on messages and all this. But
like, that's different.
But I feel like TK was just, like, done. And it sounds like, I know there were some, like, descriptions at the beginning, like, when they first cast Lisa, that she was going to be in there for a few episodes. So I feel like episode 1 and possibly episode 2, we're going to get a kind of a progression of, like, her there. And so, like, 4 months maybe is going to be longer. And so slowly, like, I don't know, like, the bickering. And at first I thought it was more banter.
I thought it was play fighting.
Yeah. And then, like, it got a little hairier. And I feel like, you know, TK probably did. It's like, I don't want to be quarantined with my parents at all. And then knowing that they're, like, divorced. Yeah, it's just, so it was a good scene. And I know that what Ronan is wearing in that scene is also what he's wearing when he goes to Carlos's, and they have that kiss. So, like, I'm great. Like, I have a feeling like he will, like, after that scene, he'll probably be going to Carlos's. So it's like to relieve some stress of, and then the crew.
And I have another
Marjan, Paul, and Mateo are there
too. Like,
so
not like
one thing I've noticed.
It's like a scene we get, but it's also a theory, which I'll get to when we get there.
One thing I noticed about, like, the newest extended clip of the fight scene, like, when Owen, like, it shows Owen coming into the room and everything. So TK is getting, I'm guessing it's a bottle of, like, mineral water or something out of the fridge. And the way, like, he swings it almost looks like he wishes it was alcohol. Like, the manner in which he does it, it's like...
Yeah. That can be,
I have to listen to this.
Yeah, that can be triggering, like, if your parents are fighting. Like, then you have to be under the roof. You would wonder if it would, like, it definitely would be warranted for him to like slip up and like do drugs again. I don't think they're gonna play that out, but like I think that like that's definitely logical to be like warranted for him to have a relapse.
Yeah, I like obviously I think that like the little part where it's like it almost looks like he wishes it was alcohol. Like I think that's funny, but it's also a concern because it's like even if he doesn't relapse into drugs or something, it's like it's at least tempting to just want something a little stronger than mineral water just to get through. Just speaking as the kid of divorced parents, like whenever there was something really bad going down, it's like I have never had alcohol before, but I'm pretty sure I want it right now. And I was like 13 when my parents split. So that was like very young to start thinking anything like that. But
speaking of splitting, like we did learn that they were only married for 10 years.
And like only child, that's the confirmation that TK is only child. Like we knew that,
I don't
but I
like
think there are a
the
lot
sibling
of angles people take with like siblings.
About the theories, I don't like the sibling fanfics because they're like too extreme and like it's just like, so I was kind of happy to find out he was an only child. Not gonna lie.
At the risk of sounding very, I don't know, maybe not sounding kind to the people who write the siblings, and I do not mean harm necessarily, it always feels like with scenes like that the person is putting themselves in instead of making an original character. Like, they're just putting themselves. And that sits wrong with me. Especially, like, I have seen things, like, with one sister or another, and, like, they go date somebody else in the scene. It's like, it screws with my mind.
Right. Well, I mean, and I don't know, for me, like, I wouldn't mind if it was completely alternate universe and there was, like, a sibling involved, but, like, to have it try to be as close to canon as possible.
That's the ones I don't like.
It's a surprise sister
like a
or
secret
half-sister.
sibling or something like that. It's like, yeah.
Because I don't know, I know that Owen was married to Gwen. They got divorced, and at some point between the time they got divorced and them and TK and Owen at the beginning of the series, he'd been divorced a second time.
Yeah.
So it's plausible that the second wife had maybe a baby or something, or like
I'm pretty sure
kids from a previous marriage too.
State that, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we do not know much about that.
That would have already been stated if he had other kids,
Yeah.
So just, I like the confirmation that TK is an only child, which, hey, I'm an only child, so I totally understand TK.
Oh, yeah.
But, so I just, I don't mind reading the stories where, like, TK has a half-sister or something. I just, it's got to be done tastefully. It's, because...
I saw one.
I don't know. I like stuff when that's
I saw
as
one
close
the
to
other
accurate
day
as
where
possible.
I didn't read it because I was just like, that's weird. Where TK and Buck were cousins, and that was just very weird for me. But moving on.
So EJ, your story where like TK and Buck had known each other before,
that's a lot different.
Like that. I like that. Like, that is one of the few stories I love that angle. Yeah. But most stuff like that, I do not like that angle.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because people take it a little bit too far.
Usually because it plays on what I do not like the one angle I absolutely hate in the 911 fanfiction universe, which is making the 118 out to be extremely horrible and, like, Buck running away and all that. I hate that angle. So most of the time, it's used for that angle.
Yeah.
And I could go into a whole lot about that, and I will not. Because
thank you for the compliment. I'll tell Andy.
So I think like the fighting will ultimately result to a hookup. I think the hookup will be after this because they're building up so much tension that it has to break eventually, and I think that's how it'll break.
Well, I mean, and remember the comment that she made a couple of promos ago was, "We're just two adults that found something to do besides homicide during the pandemic,"
and they do seem like they're reaching the homicide point.
Yeah.
So,
now, a very, very TARLOS promo. Saving the best for last.
This is all I needed in life.
Oh, yeah.
This was the best TARLOS. Yes. This was the best TARLOS Tuesday we could ask for.
They're not going to show us anything else.
Thank you.
Tuesday came around, and they saved the best for last, so I'm happy. Well, we saved the best for last.
Surprise!
Well, I guess they did too. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. So TARLOS and TK are at the fight scene that we see with Paul there next to him. Mateo's shown for like 0.1 seconds, and so you think that Marjan's boxing in that moment, and then we see the firefighter and my boyfriend's cop scene but it's just shortened. And then we see
Mm-hmm.
a blaze shown. Someone's ducking, don't know who it is, and
It looked like the volcano scene, if I'm thinking correct.
Yeah.
If I'm knowing what you're talking about in this part, like where the music goes, dun dun. Dun. I don't know.
Yeah. And
It's very dramatic,
Carlos
but
is like holding his gun, and you see the tank on the loose. And then we see TK walking in the yellow gear, which we kind of already talked about. But this is like obviously during the wildfire.
And he appears distressed,
Yeah.
so that's where I assume like Owen went
Yeah.
down in the helicopter.
Yeah, and
Because
then
it looks like a medical tent. So
Yeah. Yeah, then
either
we see
got chewed out or
Carlos
he had
shown
to
in his
leave.
uniform. 'Cause the whole thing is like,
Right.
it's supposed to be like their boyfriends who are first responders. Yeah, it shows meaning because they both save
Being there for
lives
each other.
and like, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. And then we get to the big scene, party, cake thing, where everyone's basically there. And the best part, like one of the best parts, he's like, "Thanks for being here, babe." Okay, the first time I saw this, I didn't get the babe drop, I don't think, but the second time I did though, and I was like, "Oh, he just."
I didn't. Yeah.
I love that.
Same here.
I had to.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, that was really cute.
It
Yeah.
was so adorable because like
you could definitely see like the heart
like,
ice between the two of them.
like it was just like, I don't know like how to say this, but we would have never gotten like a babe drop. I mean, granted, like TK didn't really confirm their relationship to Carlos until the last scene of season 1. So, but I love that. I needed that. And then we see the kiss that we saw before, and it looked like Carlos was holding a cheese board with lots of fruit on it, which makes sense. But yeah, the hangout was shown, and I feel like we got so many different angles of that. Like every time I saw that again, I saw something new. Like I saw like what was being prepared and stuff, and domesticated TARLOS.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I need it all. I don't care about anything else. I loved Mr. TARLOS.
Yeah, same.
Like, give me it all.
Please.
And kind of in that same scene, or like maybe a scene later, like Carlos coming up to TK when he's sitting there and like putting his like hands on his shoulders and kind of massaging him and giving a kiss on the head.
Oh,
That was amazing.
Yeah, like that, like pretty much melted all of us. Like we were just like, oh my god. Like that is
cute.
that is definitely after the fight, whatever you want to call it, the argument, whatever.
Yeah,
tension.
with his parents.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think, if I remember correctly, this was shown before we even got that full scene. Or even most of it. So like we really didn't know. But it was adorable before, and it's even better after.
We love the shoulder massage anyway. We love the head kiss, all that. But like knowing that it came after that one scene, it's like, oh.
Yes, and then like we get like the like part of them like at the bar, not actually at the bar part, but when they're like away from the bar and they're kind of just together.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Them smiling besottedly at each other.
Oh yeah, that's adorable. I have a feeling it's like TK's like he knows like Carlos is just like, that's my boyfriend, and TK is just like, well I don't know what he says, but I have thoughts.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to see what he says.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm excited. Yeah, he's there's definitely something there.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be something like, TK's like, really? Of course I'm your boyfriend. And he's like, yeah, but he didn't know that.
I would love that.
Yeah.
And then we see Carlos's, I'm just going to start calling him his parents because I think it's his parents.
Me
so
too.
I will announce it as his parents. But we see him hug his mom and
TK
dad and
the hand
TK,
of his dad.
Yeah. And then like even after that we see like them like a more extended part of them like just together alone in that same scene, But like, it's just like in Ronan's face is like just I don't know. I can't even call him TK in that moment because it's just a Ronan face.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, in that scene, it looks like the parents like may have sat down somewhere or something.
That's what I was thinking.
Or they could be alone, and like they're like looking down, and then they look at each other, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, this just popped in my head. But if Carlos is showing TK's parents this soon, it has to be like, well, obviously we know it's like everything, and it's like. What's the word I'm looking for? Serious. I don't know. I feel like I was looking for a different word, but
Oh yeah, they better be serious.
I mean, we know they are, but like, it's just like soon to meet the parents. But like, it's also kind of like one of those things where in my head, it's like TK's like, well, you've met my dad, but like, yeah, but you work alongside him. Obviously, he's gonna meet your dad before he meets your parents.
I mean, also, we don't know how much time has passed.
Yeah.
Because,
Well,
like,
yeah.
in the fight scene, it's like, 4 months or something. Which, I don't know what is the etiquette for meeting parents, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It all depends.
It depends the person.
Yeah.
Like, if you're okay with it, like, that's all that matters.
Right.
Sometimes you might know the parents before you even meet the person you're going to date.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I imagine that Carlos wouldn't want to like put the pressure on TK of like some big family meal or something where it's like his parents and his like siblings if he has any and like at their house. Like he'd want it casual. So like at a
This seems like a
farmer's
good
market.
neutral part.
Yeah.
This seems like a good
Yeah.
or neutral area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like a sibling mention because I am certain in my head that Carlos has siblings and
too.
multiple.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I feel like it'd be weird. It just seems really weird dynamic to me if both of them were only children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Carlos is only child. I think they're siblings.
Yes, many of us only children, and I know I'm the same. As I've always wanted to marry somebody who has siblings because I didn't have any officially when I was growing up. Like I have my friends or my family, but
Yeah.
My brain did Tarlos and Mary, and it then just went,
Yeah.
happy puddle of delight.
Yeah, definitely.
In like 3 seasons, I wanted to get
Oh,
married.
same.
Even 4 seasons, just as long as they get married.
oh yeah,
Yeah. I'm like, this is how I like have their whole like life planned out in my head.
oh yes, totally.
Hey, Fox, just call the fan writers in. Like, just
I know.
we can do it. We've got it. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
You can
Don't worry, we have it under control.
Yep. Step aside.
You can take all my
You obviously don't know what
ideas.
you're doing.
You don't even have to credit me. Like if as long as I get what I want, it's okay.
If I get to be on scene and interact with all the people.
Oh wait, the only thing I would want is just to be there in person. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Just let me be present and meet all the people I love. You don't have to credit me.
Yeah,
But I have ideas.
literally me.
And I will boast writing those scenes. Let's just be honest here.
And then we get the firefighters or smog bunch scene again, and I don't care. I'm not even sick of it yet. I would never get sick of a TARLOS scene. What am I talking about?
Okay, so in that scene, there's someone who passes behind TK. And it always looks like they have a blonde mohawk. Or some really shocking hairstyle that always catches my eye.
Oh yeah, I think it's just a woman with really short haircut.
But it looked like they were wearing a uniform.
Yeah, they were a cop.
And so I'm like, okay, I wasn't sure whether it was a firefighter or a cop, and I was like,
It looked like a cop
okay.
to me,
So,
but
So
I was like, that would be on par with Owen hiring somebody.
I just thought of this. What if the smug part doesn't really have to do with TK? It has to do with Owen feeling like, well, I'll just stop the tank by standing in front of it. They're not going to hit me. I'm a firefighter.
oh wait,
like-
yeah, I'm
Maybe.
here
And
for
so,
it.
like, the person that's behind him is the cops arresting the person that was driving the tank.
I'd be here for
Maybe,
it.
yeah.
I'd be here for it.
And I don't know. I would be there for it, and I like that idea. But I will bask in that scene until Monday.
Oh yeah,
Actually, Tuesday.
I'll probably be
And-
watching the Tarlos thing over and over the next 2 days.
Oh
The
yeah.
next 3 days.
Same.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Is that just about it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Basically, that was everything, which is crazy. I thought this was
Yeah,
going to take us
so
4 hours to
much.
do, not going to lie.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've gotten through a lot, and I feel like obviously the network doesn't want to give us a whole bunch of information, which is why they give you short promos. So we're not going to get like step by step. So it's like we're going to have to piece stuff together. And sometimes I'm like, I'll just take the promo for what it is. But then when somebody mentioned one thing about like they're carrying Owen, and I'm like, okay, so why? And then there's a scene where I can tell he's on a helicopter, and then there's a clip of like the helicopter flying over like the smoke of the. So I'm like, okay, so the helicopter's gonna crash, and Owen's in the helicopter. So then there's another clip of like some of the firefighters, like obviously TK and some of them running up to the downed helicopter, and like somebody's jumping up into it. And it, honestly, like somebody made a comment in one of the fan groups that I'm in that it doesn't look like it's any of the 126. They think it's Oliver, so that would be Buck jumping up there, which would make sense because we know that they're in the crossover.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just so I come up with some theories as to some things. So I'm like, I'm excited, and like I got a ton of Tarlos content, which is like what we needed. It was very lacking in the first few promos.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna before we end it, we're gonna talk about some of the episode titles that we know and stuff, theorize about them, I guess. So the first one's Back in the Saddle, and that could mean so many different things. Like, that could mean like TK coming back to work, which I think he's been back for a while, so I don't think that now, but then I did. It could mean Tommy joining the 126 after being off of work for a long time.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it is a mix of both of those things, but I also think it's also a symbol of the season. Starting back up again, like we're back in the saddle for the season, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and in other podcast episodes, we've talked about like the whole title of the episode kind of filters through most of the episode, and like all the like storylines somehow correlate to the title. So like I definitely feel like it has something to do with TK coming back. It has something to do with Tommy coming back. I also feel like it has something to do with Owen and Gwen being like maybe having a little bit of a finding something to do besides homicide to kill each other during the pandemic.
And extra benefits.
I think that's that's a perfect way to describe that, because I wouldn't call it like a romance, because it's definitely not that. I don't want it to be
Thank
that.
goodness
I
it's
don't want
not
to
that.
claim it as that. I don't want to even put that out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
But yeah, I'm excited. That's definitely that one. And then, what do we know what number 2 is?
oh yeah, I remember. Episode 2 is called, I think, 2100 Degrees, which I was like looking up stuff about that, so I'm like, okay, well, I think this is when the lava happens, so I'm thinking that's like either the temperature of lava. I'm thinking either, or that's like a temperature of a possible. Well, I actually one of the things I googled was, what temperature can kill you?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I was like thinking, because I was like, what is too hot?
The temperature of lava when it is first injected from a volcano vent can vary between 700 and 1200,000 degrees Celsius, which is 1300 to 2200 Fahrenheit.
There you go. So it has the main thing is the lava. I knew it had something to do with the lava.
Yeah, and I think
I figured, yeah.
and that's all we have for like those as of right now.
Isn't the third one called Hold the Line?
Oh yeah. I couldn't remember. So
Yeah.
episode 3 is Hold the Line, and
Which
Which is a common wildfire term.
yes.
And in wildfires, they often don't go directly into like the place that's burning. They'll go along the edge of it, and they'll literally like make a ditch around it, and that ditch is supposed to help stop it from spreading any further. So that's the line they're talking about.
They will also light fires to like counter
Yep.
the wildfires. So
Because they'll burn its fuel before it gets to it, so then it can't go any further.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm definitely excited, and from what I understand, they do have 6 complete episodes filmed
Yeah.
and ready to air. So we'll probably have 6 consistent episodes.
Do we know if they're back filming yet? I know 911
They're supposed to
is,
be
but I
on
don't
Monday,
know.
so that when this goes up, they
Okay.
should be. And people were kind of nervous that they wouldn't be, but once I saw that 911 was back filming, and I had a feeling they would be just because, like, I just had a feeling, and stuff.
Yeah.
And once I saw that they were back, I was like, there's no reason why Lone Star can't be back. They filmed.
They're
Right.
both filming in California.
Yeah, they're both
Yeah.
both in
filming
LA.
at literally the same place. Like, it would be, like, stupid for them not to be filming.
Right, and I think I heard like when they went on their hiatus for just the holidays, they were gonna go back filming like a week ago, and so that's like they only were postponed like a week. So instead of having like a 4-week break, they had a 5-week break. So it wasn't like they were off for like a super amount of time.
Yeah.
Compared to like, because there were a lot of people that thought like they wouldn't go back to filming until like mid-February. Because unfortunately, over here on the West Coast, the cases have spiked a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, LA is at 0% ICU capacity.
Yeah.
Or, well, I think it's very low. If it's not 0, it's very close.
They're practically at code black, which is
yeah. So honestly,
at max capacity.
I think we can all expect them to have to postpone a good bit more because the situation is not changing. So I think we're going to have a lot of them stopping filming, starting filming, stopping filming, starting filming.
Yeah.
And you know what? That is even if we have to wait a couple weeks for an episode at some point, that is fine.
Yeah.
As long as the cast and crew are safe.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I was watching some comments, and I know that I watched one of the interviews that Lisa Edelstein did, and then the scene of them in bed together, she said was like the first scene they filmed because like you had to go through all the protocols and the quarantine to just get that. So I feel like we're going to get some semi-intimate scenes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're going to get a lot of like deeply intimate ones without major like quarantine, like extra quarantining because of it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
As long as they're safe and as long as the cast and crew stay safe, I'm fine waiting. Like they have 6 episodes and they air those, and then we have like a couple of weeks where we don't have shows. I'm down for that as long as they're staying safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can wait, and that actually means a prolonged season.
Yeah.
Just like Aaron was.
Yeah,
so, like,
I hope so.
Better and better.
Yeah, and you know, and hopefully with the vaccine and the herd immunity, you know, start spreading as we, you know, get vaccinated, that things might be able to lighten up a little bit, and they might be able to start filming this following seasons if they're picked up for another season.
They will be.
They will be. You know, so they could possibly, you know, start filming when they were originally going to start filming.
All right, yeah.
And, you know, so the seasons could start in, like, more of the normal time they normally do. So, you know, we'll see. And we'll just take it, like, one day, 1 week at a time. And I think that's what the production companies are doing. Like, that's really all they can do. It's like, follow the rules, you know?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to get fines
don't
and...
take risks.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
And they also do not want to have any of their, well, especially cast, get COVID because that means they're out for the long run, or hopefully not, but possibly permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't need to risk losing their cast as well.
Right, yeah.
Right. And I feel bad. Like, I know Ronan said, like, he hasn't seen his family in a long time, and I'm sure most of, like, if they're not quarantining with them right now, I doubt they've seen them families for like a year. I know I haven't seen my dad in 10 months.
Yeah.
I saw my dad briefly for the first time in about a year earlier this month.
Yeah.
And I probably won't see him again for a long time.
Yeah. Right.
So
yeah, it's just it's challenging, and that definitely can put like a lot of strain on your mental health.
But yeah, if we do have like an off week, which we probably will, we'll have like other episodes. We have lots of ideas and things, of course, we want to talk about. So
we might even have mid-season theories.
Yeah.
Like mid-series season.
Yeah. So we'll definitely have like lots to talk about, even if we don't have an actual new episode to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there's a couple of things I wanted to mention too. Like, so I don't know if anybody saw, but on Instagram yesterday, Liv Tyler posted that she got COVID. She tested positive on New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve day.
Yeah.
So the last few weeks she's been in quarantine. Yesterday she posted a picture of her and her daughter, so it looked like she was out of quarantine. So it was like reuniting with them. So I definitely am sending a lot of thoughts and prayers out to her and her family for just healing and getting through this, because I know it's very challenging right now. And I know she had said in her message that she'd done all of 2020, done well with staying healthy for her family. And then on the last day of the year, she tested positive.
Yeah, that's what happened to my coworker. Like on the day before New Year's Eve, like she didn't feel well, and then she got tested, and yeah, she was positive. That'll happen to a lot of people, I'm sure.
Well,
Yeah, like even recently I wasn't feeling so good, and I was like, oh no, I really hope I don't have to go get tested. Unfortunately, I am feeling fine, tired but fine, so I'm like, I'm not worried about it. But it's really scary that in between period where you're like, okay, do I have to get tested, and what is going to happen?
Yeah, it's like something like you feel like a certain way, and then like you think like, oh God, I hope I don't have it. And like I know like recently our questions they ask at work multiplied and stuff. They ask us a lot more questions and stuff. So like yeah, that just
Yeah.
okay.
I was interested. I wasn't sure what they were going to do with Penn there, because
oh my God.
I think she would have to get different licensing to work as a paramedic out of state, but she could also work as a firefighter out of state.
yeah,
Obviously.
well, she's a firefighter, paramedic, so she does both. It's not like Lone Star where there's some dedicated paramedics. I feel like obviously Chimney and Hannah and 911 are like the dedicated paramedics, but they're also firefighters.
Right. And well, and I think in times of an emergency like that, when there's a state of emergency declared of some kind, usually people who can come in and volunteer there's a clause in that where if you're out of state and you're not technically licensed in that state, because of the emergency, you're allowed to like practice. So like there are ways of like getting around that.
Oh yeah, that's what happened during 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah, and wow, that's like, so helicopter crash is definitely like, we were right on that.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. And that's okay. So for anyone who doesn't know, we are recording this on the 16th of January, which is 2 days before the premiere. And we are, this episode will be airing on the 18th before season 2 starts. And talk about like random.
Yeah. Happy premiere day.
Wow.
Well, happy premiere day, everyone.
Yeah.
So,
it's not premiere day.
Well, spoilers. We should probably put that in the title.
Oh yeah, I don't. This is just a lot. I don't.
Wow.
So I just have to say, guys, we made it. 10 months of waiting for more.
Woo!
We did it. I mean, we've gotten a little bit of tidbits here in the last couple months, but like Lone Star did their season finale in like early March of 2020, and it's now mid-January 2021. So 10 months we've waited. We did it.
Yeah.
We're here. Season 2 premieres.
We did it.
If you're listening to this, its premieres probably a few hours. If you're listening to it on Monday.
And if you're out of the country, then I hope you're able to listen to or watch it soon.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because obviously we are talking the U.S. premiere date.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I always get like questions like, when is it coming to my country? I'm like, I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I'm not that special.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the cast is usually pretty good. Like I think Raphael's posted sometimes like when it's premiering in like Brazil or Portugal.
Yeah, I just.
But they also have to know that.
Right.
I don't think they even know sometimes.
Yeah.
So I know I'll be watching it on Tuesday because I do not have Fox, so I can't watch it when it premieres. Sadly.
Yeah. Hulu.
But I will be getting up. Yes, I will be getting up like 6 to watch it the moment it gets on.
I just hope they. I hope they put it on like actually 6, because another show I watched, they didn't put it on at 6. It went on like halfway through the day.
Oh no! Yeah, I'm gonna check Hulu like at midnight and see, because like last year, because I don't have Fox either, so I had to wait till Hulu played it, and so I know there were a few times where it didn't go on right away.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's on at midnight so I can watch it, because I'll stay up Monday night or Tuesday morning and watch it.
I mean, I'm already someone who stays up to like 2 or 3 a.m. So like I can I can stay up
Yeah.
late. Or early, depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
So,
And our plans
I'm
for the
so excited.
our plans for the podcast are pretty much the same. Like, we're gonna kind of go over what stands out to us in each episode and continue. Our episodes will continue to go up on Mondays.
Thank you guys so much for joining us and listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Anchor. We are also on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and just about anywhere where podcasts can be found. On iTunes, please rate us and leave a review. It would mean a lot to us. You guys can follow the podcast on our socials at 911LS Roundup on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You can follow me on Instagram at @ForLoveTarlos, Twitter at @ForLoveTarlos. I may be live tweeting tonight, so I don't know where the heck I'm going to do that, but either there or at JustKTH on Twitter.
You guys can follow me at RonanRafa911 on Instagram and at SheepGirl31 on Twitter.
You can follow me, EJ, at EJ8302 at Instagram and Twitter.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Bye.